The Migos. Hey, man, let's talk about this Western Conference right now because I think the Western Conference is very interesting. We just watched the Memphis Grizzlies versus the Minnesota Timberwolves tonight, and the Western Conference is all over the place. I mean, you're talking about some top teams here, and the debate we were having right before we started the show tonight was, where does this Western Conference match up where if you're the Oklahoma City Thunder, your gift right now, if it stays the same way over the next 2 games, is the Minnesota Timberwolves.
Mm-hmm. That's a gift.
That is not a fun gift to get
curse.
if you're talking about 1 through 8. But, I mean, starting out with this game here, what we saw from Memphis and from Minnesota dominated at every front. Zach Edey's out there in the fourth quarter. Thanks for the steak. Because I mean, listen, like the Memphis Grizzlies right now look like a team that just fired their head coach. Oh, my God, they did.
Oh, yeah.
Look at that.
Wild. But coming off a 3-game winning streak, but when you face a real playoff team, you saw the effects of it.
Yeah.
Let's start off on the Memphis side of this. Boom. Foul. Boom. You know what I mean? Cover your ears. Is Memphis a threat? Is Memphis a threat at all because of everything they're going through?
No. If it stays the same, they play who? They're number 7 now?
They're 7. They would play Houston right now.
Actually.
Stop it. Houston in 4.
In 4?
Houston in 4. Houston's defense is ridiculous.
Houston's defense is ridiculous. I agree with that.
It is. Nah, Houston in 4. They're not a threat to the top seed.
The experience in the playoffs, doesn't that kind of give them a little bit of a game, a gentleman's sweep? You're giving them 4-0.
Playoffs comes down to coaching.
There might be some motivation.
Cap.
Wow.
But they skating through the seat. They're skating through, right?
Oh yeah. Attitude reflect leadership.
Hey, it comes down to coaching.
Yeah.
Guess who has a coach? Guess who doesn't?
Yeah.
There you go.
Well,
Ime Udoka is candidate for coach of the year.
Yeah.
If not coach of the year.
Who's the superstar on the Rockets?
They don't need one.
Jalen Green.
You would say Jalen Green.
Green.
Yeah. Jalen Green's their best.
You know what? I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm not gonna lie to you.
The Thompson.
Y'all know who I'm saying.
Sengun.
Sengun, a difference, man.
Yeah, difference maker.
He's like Paul Gasol.
Sengun, who guarding Sengun on Memphis right now?
Nobody.
Jaren,
He can't stay in the game long enough to do it.
On Memphis, I'm just saying who?
Jaren can't stick.
Are we talking about who's going to be in the starting lineup versus him? Yes, Jaren Jackson Jr. will be in the starting lineup versus him.
You don't think he can hold his own?
No.
He was in conversations for Defensive Player of the Year a couple of years ago.
He cannot guard without fouling.
I understand. That's the truth. That's the truth.
Julius Randle got out tonight because Jaren Jackson Jr. couldn't stay in the game.
Well, Jaren had 23, but you're right. You're right.
He couldn't stay in the game. He had three fouls before the third quarter.
Here's my only thing with Memphis. Whenever you have a superstar, I think you always have a chance. If Ja Morant is playing in the game, I think there's a fighting chance with this team. They can get on a streak, and I feel like if you play the right way, because I think they have decent defense as well. Desmond Bain does what he's supposed to do.
I love Desmond
Maybe
Bain.
Zach Edey averages 15.
Oh, is that a gut punch? If Zach Edey averages 15 in the first round of the playoffs?
He averages a stink.
That's a gut punch a little bit.
I think that, they could win. They could win.
Drew, what are your thoughts on the playoff series here? Are you a believer in Memphis?
I do like Memphis, but I don't think they have enough to depend on their seeding to take out 1 or 2. I don't. I like Ja. He's definitely going to give you his 25 and 7 rebounds, 4 or 5 assists. But I don't see him taking over a la Kobe and willing himself to a first round win.
Yeah. He would have to overcome Joe.
The Grizzlies?
Yeah.
I'm gonna say I actually would give him a shot.
You giving him a shot versus the Rockets?
Mm-hmm.
I think there's a conversation to be had.
Wait,
I don't know if I say 4-0.
What did we
Kids going 4-0.
What did we just say? We said that it's about superstars, right?
Yes, it is.
Earlier, you just said literally, I would trade almost anything to get any of those
Anthony
superstars.
and Ja.
So the thing is that they skated to get into the playoffs, but I think he can turn it up, and that's what you're going to see. You just got done saying who does Houston have now? Clearly, there are teams that can win through team gameplay. But if he gets hot, and he can, and like you said, you still got Triple J, Jaren Jackson Jr. You still got, Zach Edey.
Calm down now.
You know what I'm saying? Scottie Pippen Jr.'s been doing his thing.
Scottie Pippen Jr. has been doing his thing. I'm not going to lie. Best superstar kid in the NBA.
If they're lying in the weeds
that I've ever seen.
If they're lying, see
superstar
the playoffs,
kid.
To me, the playoff, this doesn't mean anything anymore. Back in the day, like in my day, when we watched the NBA,
take a
the
shot.
number one team.
I see why you say that.
But the
because
number
Ron Harper wasn't a superstar.
Ron Harper wasn't a superstar.
Yeah, but
I see why you
the
said
number
that.
one teams typically were the favorite to win. Nowadays, it's almost like you can they just want to get into the playoffs, and the West is so stacked as it is, anyways.
Yeah.
So you got a superstar like him. I'm not counting him out.
I think I'll give him. If it's me, I'll say 4-1. I think Ja will get you one. I think the issue with them, to me, is the fact that they don't. I just don't believe in them. They're not really playing defense right now. It's a kind of a mix between. Do we want to play fast with Ja in there, or are we trying to get back to that style of when Ja was out, where everybody was moving the ball? And you know everybody was getting open looks. I like Scottie Pippen Jr. I like Jaren Jackson Jr. The problem is he can't stay on the floor long enough to keep them in the game, and that's really
the
their
fouls
only,
are a problem.
That's really their only defensive anchor they got. So I'll get him one, but that's about it.
I think here's the thing for me, right? One, Houston's never been to the playoffs. Now, Ime Udoka has. So that makes a big difference. Your coach has been to the playoffs.
True.
Memphis's coach now hasn't been. I think that's more of an impact than the fact that Ja Morant is going up against the 2 seed in the West, right? I would say it's probably a 6-game series where everything is very competitive, because we saw a very competitive game tonight versus a Minnesota team that I think is better than probably where they're slated. But to me, the conversation around Ja Morant and the conversation around the Memphis Grizzlies right now is this a team that defensively can wake up? I'm going to bet on that when you have a Defensive Player of the Year candidate consistently on your team who's consistently in the 3 to 4 blocks per game area. That changes how teams are going to do things. And a lot of what the Houston Rockets do is predicated on them getting to the basket. Amen Thompson does a great job getting to the basket, right? Jalen Green does a great job getting to the basket. I love how Alperen Şengün plays. To me, he's the best. And I know this sounds crazy with Jokic, with Vooch, with all of these bigs in the league that are great back to the basket. Alperen Şengün has the best back to the basket footwork in the NBA. I've been saying that for 4 years right now. I've been saying that for 4 years. I believe that makes a difference in this series. And to me, I do have a Houston putting Memphis out, but I do think Memphis can be competitive in this series. And that's why I think the end of this season is incredibly important, because if the Timberwolves lose the next couple of games or they win the next couple of games, I think Memphis is in that conversation. And again, Joe, you brought up the superstar the superstar aspect of this.
Mm-hmm.
Superstars find a way to be amazing. Mm-hmm. Sometimes they do things that you don't expect them to do. I can't call Ja in the modern NBA a superstar because y'all know how I feel about it. You got to have some accolades. You got to have some jewelry or something to go with it, an MVP, something. But Ja's a superstar level talent. He may never get to that, but he's a talent that is superstar level. That, I think, can change the series if, I'm not going to lie to you. Unless you put Amen Thompson on him, the whole series, which maybe you do, there's nobody on that team.
That's exactly what you do. That's exactly what you do.
Well, I would assume you put Amen Thompson on Desmond Bane, and you put Dylan Brooks, who's also good defensively, on Ja Morant.
Who also knows them.
Yeah, who knows them well
Dylan
as well.
Brooks is getting cooked.
Nah,
Dylan Brooks is getting.
I would agree with that.
He getting cooked.
I would agree with that.
Thompson, nah, that kid different. That kid is different. I'm gonna be honest with you.
Because
we have this image of
both of them.
Because we have this image of this is the difference between superstar and superstar talent.
No,
and
it depends on his anger. Because if he can keep his anger in line, then he is a good defender. But if he gets a little bit out of his square,
Dylan? Yeah, Dylan, you can get out of his body. Dylan, you can get out of body.
Ant is a superstar.
No.
Ant is a superstar.
No.
He hasn't won anything.
He ain't won nothing.
By your definition, I give you that. That kid's a superstar.
No.
There's a clear difference between the what he brings, the excitement. Superstar is more along the lines of not just what your talent is, but the marketability of it. He's clearly the more marketable player.
If we're talking about marketable,
and he's the more marquee player.
And is the least marketable player in the NBA right now. There are 4 children who have a dad that doesn't want them right now. Ant is the least marketable player in the NBA right now.
Yet this is the gentleman that's on everybody's list for throwing bombs in the audience,
which is great. Like, I'm not saying either one.
Not only
of
is
them,
he marketable.
No, I'm just going off of what your debate is. He literally said, "I don't want your child." So Ant right now is the least marketable player in the NBA based on 2025.
This man is paying 216 months of child support.
My G.
That's a cap. That was a cap. She said she pulled that out as cap.
You think that a kid is more important than the AK and the grenade?
The NBA doesn't care about that at all. I'm going to be honest with you. The NBA has been dealing with that type of situation since the beginning of the NBA. You're not going to sit there and change that now. That's the one thing like the NBA does that's very similar to the NFL.
Has been dealing with all of it. I mean, Ja Morant is sitting here coming in with play guns pointed at the audience. Gilbert Arenas walked in with Glocks and put them on the table and said, "You pick one and we'll pick 40 paces."
And he tried to fight David Stern, and David Stern said, "If you sit here and try to fight this 50-game suspension, which you could, and you do have precedent for, I'm going to go after your money and you would never play again."
Which is great.
And what did Gilbert Arenas do? Shut up. That's what he did. He sat down and shut up, and guess what? He wasn't the same afterwards.
And the same argument can be made for Ja. Ja hasn't been the same since his comeback.
That's not the argument.
No, what I'm saying is
Ant-Man is a superstar.
You're saying the marketability for Ant is higher than for Ja. I would say both of them are through the floor right now. Neither of them are marketable.
I highly doubt
it. In 2025, you're going to market the guy who literally has come out on Instagram multiple times and been like, "This ain't my baby."
Hey, I get
That's
you.
not gonna work.
I totally get it.
And by the way,
in a couple of months, this is not gonna matter.
I'm not gonna lie to you.
You know what's gonna matter? They're gonna win the first round, and nobody's gonna remember about this kid.
We all remember Mariah Mills. We all remember Mariah Mills.
And where's Zion? Where's Zion?
I really don't want to.
Sitting on the bench.
If Zion was winning, we wouldn't care about Mariah Mills.
I was doing Locked On NBA. I had to cover that. She was live tweeting while I was online. It was 3 tweets, and then every now and again you get reminded what she does for a living. You be, oh no, God. Anyway,
yeah.
No, I think here's the thing. For me, the superstar conversation, we live in an era where scoring don't matter. It doesn't.
Yeah, I don't know about that.
Kobe White can score as much as Anthony Edwards.
No, he can't.
Yes, he can.
He has the potential.
That's why he's the player of the month.
He has the potential.
Yeah, he's player of the month.
Josh Giddey has scored more than Anthony Edwards.
Averaging over 30. He can actually.
Josh Giddey has outplayed Anthony Edwards this season based on stats. Josh Giddey has a stat that only LeBron James and Nikola Jokic has.
I get it.
100%. Stats don't matter in the modern NBA. You want to know why? Because everybody's going to do this. I don't want the foul. Do what you do. I'm going to go down here and get this 3. That doesn't matter. Jason Tatum can put up 40. Kobe White can put up 40. I've seen Ish Smith put up 40.
Just because all of these players can put up a number.
P. Will had a 40 ball.
P. Will had a 40 ball. My point.
You can't do it consistently like Ant-Man does.
Kobe White.
None of those players can.
Kobe White has done it for 2.5 months right now.
Stop it.
He literally has done it for 2.5 months.
Stop it.
Stop what?
Stop it. He's not even the same conversation. He's not even the same conversation.
Are we talking about
He's not even
numbers?
the same conversation.
I'm having a conversation on numbers.
We are having a conversation.
That's
on
great.
Numbers. We can have a
conversation.
Let's have a conversation on
Kobe
numbers.
White for 2.5 months has scored the same as the best players in the NBA, which is why he was voted Player of the Month last month.
Mm-hmm.
My point in all of this is everyone scores. Everyone has a score. You texted me last night. Zach LaVine had a 25-11 night in a loss.
And Zach LaVine's a better scorer than Kobe White.
That's great. Scoring, my point is, for the superstar category, scoring don't matter.
Okay.
If you're going to be a superstar in this league, if you're going to be marketable in this league, if you're going to be one of the best players in this league, and I know for a lot of y'all, there's 37 superstars in the NBA.
No.
Damian Lillard's a superstar. No, he's not. He's got the same accolades when he was a rookie.
Yeah, I understand.
No.
You have to have some kind of jewelry, some kind of award, some kind of accolade that says you are better than the rest of your contemporaries. And continue playing after that. And the only reason I had to add continue playing after that is because Joel Embiid won the most fraudulent MVP I've ever seen in my life.
I was just tired voting from people that want to Jokic.
And then he went out there and never played another basketball game.
Yes. That is definitely fraudulent.
Fraudulent?
Yes.
He has never seen Jokic.
Jokic should have won 3 in a row.
He has not.
Charles Barkley's
played
MVP over Michael Jordan is more valid than Joel Embiid's MVP over Nikola Jokic.
Wow.
You actually believe he should have won over Jokic that year?
Wow. Yes. It's called MVP fatigue.
Yeah.
Yes.
The whole premise of that is people just say, "Hey, give it to the next guy."
The point is the voting gets tiresome when you go for the same guy that's dominating the league.
But you guys act like Embiid didn't put in.
It's not about him acting. He did not deserve it.
No, my point is,
did not deserve it.
Embiid did not mean more for his team than Jokic did.
He didn't.
Yes, the numbers were the numbers, but you are talking about Embiid did not mean more to his team.
No,
he didn't.
Okay.
And the reason I say that is this: when Embiid wasn't on the floor, which he usually isn't, Tyrese Maxey.
That year he was on the floor a lot.
He played 65 games.
That's a lot.
Literally the minimum.
That's a lot for him.
I agree. It's terrible. Tyrese Maxey literally helped that team get to the next step.
Helped, yes, but without Embiid, they would have won like 10.
Okay, take Jokic off the Nuggets.
They still would have won 20.
No.
Are you kidding me?
20.
Who's the next
Jamal
player?
Murray. Jamal Murray.
So Jamal Murray
was a
going
hooper.
to dominate to the
Jamal
point
Murray's
of
a
winning
hooper.
20 more games.
Jamal
So is Maxey.
Murray's a hooper. But they would have won. They would have won 20 more games.
Okay, all right.
They won 20 more games?
No, 20 games. 20 games compared to 10.
Oh, so they both suck. All right, bet.
Yeah,
what are y'all talking about?
Let's suck in wins.
No, but this is the thing. Joel Embiid gets back on the court and the team has a second-round exit. Nikola Jokic gets back on the court and the team wins an NBA championship with a head coach that they believe should not be the head coach. By the way, he's fired.
Yeah.
And the GM.
And the GM. Who, wildly enough, I mean, I don't know if y'all have seen a picture of this guy, but tell me it's not Nick Cage's face photoshopped on Mike Brown's head.
Yeah.
It's kind of wild.
That's hilarious.
It's kind of insane. I'm just saying. We've talked a lot about the Memphis Grizzlies here. I don't believe in them. But Minnesota Timberwolves, I think, is very interesting because of the conversation we're having, the superstar conversation. Again, I wouldn't agree with you that Ant is a superstar, but when you're talking about a talent on the floor, Ant has that superstar talent. Mm-hmm. And going up right now, Ant will be playing the Oklahoma City Thunder. The question is, can Jaren Jackson step up? The question is, can Desmond Bane step up? The question is, it's not, can Anthony Edwards step up?
When you mix the teams,
I'm sorry. Julius Randle. We had a little fun before the show. The question is, can Julius Randle step up? The question is, right, like, Mike Conley, can they finally? And they went to a Western Conference Finals very recently.
Well, that's a different team too. You changing parts, and so whatever the cohesiveness. So that's probably the byproduct of this.
Yeah, you take away
Cat going
Cat
over
from
there.
there.
They brought in DiVincenzo, right?
Yep, Dante DiVincenzo comes in.
They still got Gobert.
Right, but that's still that's your continuity's affected, so it probably takes a while to figure things out. You know, it'd be nice to just figure it out in 10 games, but it takes a while at times.
True.
Well, I mean, they had 82.
Yeah, I know. It's like LeBron was in Miami with back in
no,
the day.
LeBron
They took him into jail.
That's different
That's
different though. The LeBron in Miami situation was LeBron still wanted D-Wade to be the number one.
My point is that
nobody came into Dante DiVincenzo didn't walk into Minnesota and go, hey, I think I really can beat Karl Anthony Towns. I'm probably number one on this team.
You're not necessarily wrong. What I'm saying is that there's a difference of having different players on the team.
Yeah,
it's a different.
The chemistry is
different.
That's all
different.
The chemistry is different. You don't know where everyone wants to be on the floor, things of that nature. I think another player that talked about that a lot was Damian Lillard. He talked about his game totally changing from him having the full range to do whatever you want to do versus I only can shoot threes now.
Yeah.
Now Giannis wants to. No, I can only do that. So, you have to deal with that. Be honest, have you seen Dante DiVincenzo take as many, set threes as he's taken? He took a lot on New York. Don't get me wrong, but the threes he's taking now was like I didn't see him shoot this many shots like that from that range.
I think that was his role though. I think now actually he's got more of a role. He has to drive more. Yeah. Dante DiVincenzo has to prove that he's more of a complete player. Right. Because you're taking over for not really taking over because you add Naz Reid and that starting.
Naz Reid's there. You still got Julius
Randle. You're having the conversation now on DiVincenzo getting downhill a heck of a lot more than he ever was in New York because I didn't need him to get downhill. I had everybody else that literally only went downhill outside of Jalen Brunson. Yeah. And Jalen Brunson goes downhill a ton. I think the conversation around both of those guys, both of those names, right? Like Joe was saying, he was like, I don't know which one got better. I would say the Knicks got way better because Karl Anthony Towns
does something that Julius Randle cannot do.
Yeah. Go right.
Wait, you know exactly where you're going.
Julius Randle can't go right to save his life to this day.
I know, but do you think they got better? But they can't. The Knicks still can't beat the 1 and 2 teams in the East.
But that was always the case.
But that was always the case.
Last year they were able to out hustle them. This year they just can't beat them.
But
playoffs came around, they got smacked.
Playoffs.
Now injuries happened,
but they still could beat them though.
It's
a difference between beating them. They got beat last year. Knicks beat them last year. This year they can't beat them at all.
Yeah. Well, I think
I never had them as going high anyway. To be honest with you,
I don't believe in Cat.
Yeah, no, I was gonna say I think coming into this year, I think they were always gonna be slated where they were right now. I mean, if you think about it, the Cavs mentality really shifted when Evan Mobley and Jared Allen said like, "Hey, we got to start playing big."
Yeah, and when Evan Mobley started knocking down 3-pointers.
Yeah, like we got to start playing big. Evan Mobley got to start knocking down 3-pointers. Once we change our attitude, we're gonna be good. After that, you got Boston. The Knicks were always going to be slated as third once they got Cat. It wasn't some elevated jump. Now, I will say that when it comes to them, and then you probably look at the playoff matchup that they're going to have with the Pistons, I think the Pistons got that mentality of coming in there to knock them off possibly, which is a very doable thing because the Pistons – from all the games I've watched this year, definitely won the smoke. But but going back to Minnesota though, that first round matchup with OKC, I would probably say that's going 6. My only thing is at that point I would need Julius Randle to step up,
wake up,
show why he's here. And we know how I feel about Julius Randle. Julius Randle has to play free basketball. How we played tonight, ain't no defense.
Yeah.
OKC.
He gonna have a different world against OKC.
OKC is the number 1 team in every single defensive category. He's gonna have to play.
Yeah, no, 100%. Like the Thunder, I mean, they come in different, and they prioritize both the defensive metrics and adding in the scoring that Shea already provides. I mean, that's why they're the number 1 seed in the Western Conference right now. I think that defensively they're phenomenal. I mean, we watched what they did to the Bulls the other day, of course, doing the Windy City Breeze. It is a lot of times OKC can dismantle you if they get their defense going and Shea is on point. The one thing that I would say about OKC right now that I think could be a difference maker is Chet versus Rudy Gobert. I don't think Rudy Gobert is elite,
but I think Chet beat him.
Rudy Gobert changes how you have to run your offense.
Yep.
I'm the person that's always like Rudy Gobert is not.
Yeah.
I wanted to have belief in Rudy, and then Rudy showed up here, and I was like, oh, this is just who you are. So like Rudy Gobert to me is a dude that's very tall and can put his arms up straight.
Yep.
But that changes a lot. Listen, if you're Shea Gilgeous, who is 6'3", I gotta shoot it over 7 feet or 7 foot bottom.
He's called the Stifle Tower for a reason.
6'7"? Shea 6'7"?
Yeah, Shea 6'7".
He's still the Stifle Tower for a reason.
Yeah. My point is
he's 7-footer and then he go like this. Do we gotta jump the dunk?
He's 7'2" or 7.
He's 7.
Shea 6'5".
He said, "Hey, listen,
6'5", 6'6". So my point in this is,
as a huge human being,
I gotta throw it over not only a 7'3" human being, but also throw it over the arms standing straight up. That changes how I'm driving to the rim. That means you got to become a jump shooting team. Oklahoma City gets a lot of their jump shots based off of going to the rim. If I know that Rudy Gobert is down there and he's got his arms up, I can play the perimeter a heck of a lot easier than if I'm just like, okay, I got to worry about the drive. Oh, snap. They kicked it out for the three-point line. Now, I don't think that it's going to hinder OKC in this, but I do think it makes it a heck of a lot tougher. And to me, I think that makes the Western Conference playoffs, completely different. If we're being honest, right, we're sitting here talking about two teams at the bottom. The Lakers, to me, is a completely different conversation right now.
Yeah.
Which we're about to get into.
Which I think is just completely dangerous. Like, we're talking about Minnesota and Memphis right now who played tonight, and I think they had a good game. And it was combative, and Minnesota ends up winning. I would say Minnesota ends up with a higher seed than Memphis because of a lot of the turmoil that Memphis has gone through.
Move to the next one?
Yeah. The 3 seed right now in the Western Conference, if I'm not mistaken,